Hey everyone, it's Mike here. So welcome to the yoga portion of the neck and back special. So if you've done the Pilates portion in the last half hour, you're already warmed up and stretched, ready to go. We're going to pick up from that and do some more intense back bends. So this is going to be more on the back bends and less neck. But if you've just joined me for the yoga portion and you want a bit more neck stretches, check out the Pilates video beforehand. So today, if you have a couple of blocks, that's great, but if you don't have a couple of blocks, you can use a block and a towel or two towels. So I'll just let you pause the video. If you need to go and grab them, just pause the video and come back. If you're using a towel, I'll show you how to fold it. So just get a beach towel, something that's nice and big, and then fold it in half like this, and then fold in half again, and fold in half again, so you've got like a thin rectangle. And then take your rectangle and roll it nice and tight into a cylinder. Okay, nice tight cylinder. And just play around with the height of it. You might prefer some people prefer a higher block or a thinner one. Just see what works with the height of the towel. Because we're going to start off in heart cradle. We started off with this one in the Pilates video, but I didn't want you guys to miss out because this one is a real good one. So one block or towel is for your head and the other one is for your back. Okay, so we're going to have one about here, one about here. This one, you might need to move this one around, change the orientation. For some people this one may not work, so you might need to leave it out. Okay, so placing the towels and blocks like this. Take a seat in front, and then we're going to peel ourselves down onto the blocks. So make sure this, whoa, good target there, good aim, right in the back of your head. So this one's supporting the back of your head. The one here, just move it around to whatever feels most comfortable. Okay, so I like to have it sort of at the base of my shoulder blades. Flipping your palms up. You might want to have straight legs. You might need to bend your knees. Straight legs mightn't feel comfortable. I prefer to have feet together, knees out to either side, Supta Baddha Konasana. Just shrugging the shoulders, moving the hips. So again, if the block under your back doesn't feel good, you can take it out if you need to. Okay, because you should feel just a gentle stretch on your chest, gentle stretch in the shoulders. Again, just moving the arms a little bit, moving the legs, feeling nice and heavy on the mat. So particularly if you've been sitting at a desk for hours, or using a laptop, or some sort of random work from home arrangement, this is going to be a really good routine to undo all of that office desk hunch. Every time you breathe out, feel a little bit heavier on the mat. So we're just going to go for, say, 30 seconds more today in the class. But if you like this one, this is a really good one to do for several minutes. You'll get really good benefits of relaxation after a few minutes for this one. And just bringing the knees back together. And then peeling yourself back up. Alright, coming into seated. Just coming into cross legs. Or maybe half lotus. And interlace the fingers, press the palms forward. Looking down, shrug the shoulders down, let the shoulder blades fall apart. And rotating the palms up to the sky, looking straight ahead. And leaning over to the right, looking up past your left armpit. Inhale, center. Exhale, opposite side. And inhale, center. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just bring your feet out in front. Cross your legs over the opposite way to the way you just had them. Interlace the fingers. Flip the opposite thumb on top. Flip the opposite index finger on top. Pressing the palms forward. Looking down at the ground. Relax your head. Relax your shoulder blades. Let them fall apart. And rotating the palms up to the sky, looking straight ahead. And leaning over to the left, looking up past your right armpit. Inhale, center. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, center, and exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, so just coming down, lying down on your stomach. And just looking over to the right, just take a stretch, right heel into your glute. And switching sides. And releasing out. Coming into Cobra, so hands beside your armpits. Lifting your chest, hugging your elbows in. And inhale to prepare. Exhale, pushing up to all fours, nice and slow. Take your time, take your time. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Walk out your dog left and right. Inhale, lifting the heels, coming up onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, coming forwards into high plank. Dropping down to the knees. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, slowly coming down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and taking Cobra. So float the hands, float the legs. So whenever we come into low Cobra, make sure that your arms are relaxed. Okay, so resting your hands on the mat. It's okay to rest your hands on the mat. Don't push through the arms. Give your arms a rest. Give your legs a rest, relaxing the legs. So we just did the easy option from the knees, coming down from the knees. You can do that one again. I'll also give you the option of staying on the feet, harder option. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, coming up from the knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog, and walk out your dog left and right. Inhale, lifting the heels, coming up onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, coming forwards into high plank. Okay, decision time. If from the knees was hard enough, drop down to the knees. If you're up for the harder option, shifting forward onto the toes, staying on the feet and coming down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cobra. Relax the arms. Give your arms a rest. Lift the chest. We'll do 2 more, same options, from the knee or the feet, your option. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, coming up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog, walking it out left and right. Inhale, lifting the heels up, coming up onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, coming forwards into high plank. Decision time, from the knees or from the feet, your choice. Coming down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cobra. Relax your arms, Give your arms a rest. One more to go. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, coming up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog, and walk it out. One more to go. Inhale, lifting the heels, coming up onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, coming forward into high plank, dropping to the knees or shifting forward onto the toes and coming down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and cobra, relaxing the arms. And just pushing up to all fours. Bringing the toes to the edges of the mat, toes to touch, the knees to the edges of the mat, toes to touch. And send your hips back into the rights. Stretch. Inhale, center, and exhale, opposite side. Stretch. And inhale, center, bringing your knees back to hip width apart. And then making your way back down, slowly back down. So we'll come into Sphinx. So Sphinx, bringing your elbows forward, so your elbow is lined up with your shoulder. Okay, and this time it's okay to press through the arms. Alright, so lifting the chest, drawing your shoulders down. So just notice how your back feels. If this feels nice on your back, it's a nice stretch, then you might want to come into the next pose. But if your back's a bit sensitive, you might want to come down out of this one a little bit and not take the next pose because it is more intense. And just come around and rest. Resting your forehead on your forearms. Bending your knees, cross your ankles over in the opposite direction. And windshield wiper out. Knees out to the side, cross. Out to the side, cross. Okay, so next up, Dhanurasana. So, if your back's a bit sensitive, we're just going to take Sphinx again. But if you're up for a harder option, ideally you want to grab your ankles. If you can't grab your ankles, then foot is next best. Okay, make sure your knees don't come too wide. Okay, knees about hip width apart. Don't let them come too wide. Kick your legs into your arms. Lift your chest, lifting your knees. So your arms are relaxed. You're kicking your legs into your arms. So it might feel intense, but it should not feel like it's pinching. There shouldn't be any short, sharp pains. If there is, just come down. So you decide when to come down, when your back has had enough. Forehead on the forearms, windshield wiper out. Okay, you choose when to come down, or your back will choose when to come down. Don't hold it for any longer than you feel you need to. Okay, so let's do 2 more rounds. If it's a bit much, you can switch back to Sphinx. Okay, but if you're up for another couple, coming back, grabbing the ankles and lifting the chest, lifting the knees, kick your legs into your arms, Dhanurasana. And coming down, release out, windshield wiper out. And one more. And releasing out. Okay, so coming back into Cobra, placing your hands beside your armpits. And inhale to prepare. Exhale, making your way back up. Nice and slow, nice and slow. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Walk out your dog left and right. And inhale, raising your right leg, coming into three-legged dog. So looking at your right foot, make sure your right foot is pointing down to the ground, not out to the side. Hips are square. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands, low lunge. So coming into low lunge, lifting your chest, lowering your hips. Make sure your shin is lined up with your forearm. And inhale, raising the right hand, taking a twist. Exhale, top hand comes down, drop the back knee. Left hand flat to the mat, and raising your right hand again, twisting to the same side. So this time, you can either stay here looking over to the side, or if you like, you can grab the back ankle and take a bit of a bind, drawing the top shoulder back if you're in a bind. But if you grab your back ankle and it's a bit much, if it's a bit much on your knee, a bit much on your hip, then just let that one go if it's a bit too intense. And inhale, releasing the back leg. Exhale, top hand comes down. Inhale to rise. Keep the arms moving. Exhale as we come down. Step the front foot back, take a seat in Balasana. Inhale, scoop through into Cobra. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, pushing up nice and slow. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Walk it out, left and right. Inhale, raising the right leg, coming into three-legged dog. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands, crescent lunge, coming up into crescent lunge. Keep the arms moving. Exhale as we reach the arms back, hands to heart center. And staying here, or if it's okay on your back, lifting your chest for a back bend. Straighten up the back leg, sharpen the back leg in your lunge. Exhale, hands to heart center, looking forward and coming forward for warrior three. So if you're not up for warrior three, just keep the back toe balancing on the mat. But if you're up for warrior three, slowly coming down. Make sure that the left hip is the same height as the right hip. Back toe is pointing down, not out to the side. Maybe taking airplane, arms out to the side. Maybe full expression of the pose. Warrior three. And slowly coming back in. It's always fun on carpets. Hugging the knee in to stretch. And placing the foot down, turning your toes out for a bit of a squat. Reaching your hands forward, coming down a little bit in your squats. Coming down a bit more. If you don't like squatting, you can sit on a block. If squatting is a bit much, coming into your yogic squat. Either staying here, or if you're taking your arm balance, then you can either come into easier crow, keeping the arms on the inside of the legs. But if you're taking the full Bakasana, then knees come behind the tricep for your full Bakasana. Okay, slowly coming into it. Take your time, focus on the balance. If you're not up for Bakasana, guess what? You don't have to do it. You can just stay in a squat. If you don't want to squat, guess what? You can sit on the ground, okay? It's your practice. I suggest You make the decisions, okay? And coming back into a squat if you're in Bakasana. And from here, standing tall, tuck the toes in or turn the toes into parallel. And exhale, coming down into Uttanasana. Wrap your fingers around your upper arms. Bend your knees so that your chest is close to your thighs, looking right back through your legs. Maybe swaying left and right a few times. Fingertips to the mat. Inhale, half lift, flattening the back. Exhale, folds. Hands to the mat, stepping back into plank. Lining up your plank. Feet hip width apart. Lifting the hips, looking back into feet. Downward facing dog. Staying in down dog for a few breaths, or coming forward and taking a vinyasa, if you'd like to take a vinyasa. Moving on to the left side. Inhale, raising your left leg, coming into three-legged dog. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands, low lunge. Moving your chest forward, lowering the hips, setting up your lunge. Forearms in line with the front shin. Inhale, raising the left hand. Take your twist to the left. And exhale, top hand comes down. Dropping the back knee. Inhale, raising the left hand again. Either staying here or reaching back, grabbing the back heel if you're taking the bind, drawing the top shoulder back if you're in the bind. And inhale, reaching up. Exhale, top hand comes down. Inhale to rise. Keep the arms moving. Exhale. As we come back down, take your time. Focus on the balance. Step the front foot back. Take a seat in Balasana. Inhale, scoop through low into Cobra. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, pushing up nice and slow. Take your time. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog, and walk it out left and right. Inhale, raising the left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands, crescent lunge, coming up into crescent lunge. Keep the arms moving as we come back. Hands to heart center. Either staying here, or if you're taking a back bend, reaching up for your back bend. Sharpen that back leg nice and straight in the back leg whenever we're in lunge. And exhale, hands to heart center. Coming forward, setting up for our balance. So if you're not up for Warrior 3, just keeping the back toe on the mat. But if you are up for Warrior 3, slowly coming down, feeling for the position of that right hip. Make sure it's not hitching up. Turn the back toe in, back toe is pointing down to the ground. Maybe taking aeroplane. Maybe the full expression of the pose. And slowly coming up. Hug the knee in. And stepping back, facing off to the side, turning your toes in, grabbing your hands behind, lift your chest, reach back, open up the chest. And looking forward, hinging at the hips, exhale, hinge at the hips as we come down. So just to parallel with the ground, okay, reaching your right hand down, left hand up, twist, draw the shoulders back. Slight bend in the knee, but legs are pretty straight. If you want to move your legs a bit further apart or feet further apart, go for it. Or closer together, whatever feels best on your legs. Exhale, top hand comes down. And switching sides. Twisting to the other side. And top hand comes down, hands to heart center, lengthening the spine in your half lift and hinge at the hips. Inhale as you come up. Good, good. And warrior two. Flip the palm, inhale to reverse. Exhale, coming all the way down. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths in down dog, or take another vinyasa if you'd like to take another vinyasa. And just dropping down to the knees. Just coming onto all fours and just flipping one palm up, just stretching out the wrist. And switching to the other side. And just coming up, just give your wrists a bit of a squeeze, especially if you're coming into crow or bakasana. That can be a little challenging on the wrists, and sometimes they get sore, even in planks. It's a bit of a rite of passage in yoga. The wrists do get take a bit of time for the conditioning to kick in. Alright, so next up, continuing on from the back bends. So, grabbing your block or your towel. If you've got your towel cylinder, it's up like this. So, I'm going to give you three options, okay? Three options. Relaxing, restorative option, an option that's good for core strength, and a more intense back bend, okay? So, option number one, easiest option. If you want to chill out and relax, this is the option for you. So, supported bridge. I really like supported bridge because it is a mild inversion. It's very relaxing. It's very good for the digestive organs. So, grabbing your block like this, lifting your hips up. So you want the block on the bony bit of your hips. So I like to have it on the highest setting, but if that's a bit much for you, you can switch it to medium or low, okay? Whatever feels better. Make sure it's on the bony bit of the hips, so your glutes is too low, your lower back is too high. So that halfway point. So you should feel nice and supported, okay? Flipping the palms up and just relaxing and enjoying, okay? If you're up for a bit more of a challenge, then don't use the block, okay? If you want to make that harder, then you can squeeze the block, maybe do some raises and lowers if you want to work on core strength, okay? So you've got those options. If you are up for a more intense back bend than Dhanurasana, wheel. So, wheel is the setup, same setup as bridge that we just did. So your feet are parallel like this. Do not let your feet come out like that, okay? I have lost count of the number of times I've seen that in class. Drives me crazy. Makes me meditate more. So, set up your feet, toes parallel. Your feet do not move. So you start by coming into a bridge, okay? That's where we start. And then place your hands beside your head. So when you come into it, don't come into it too fast, but give yourself about 2-3 seconds. If it doesn't happen quick enough, then just come back out. You're not ready yet. Okay? So I'll just demo. Hands beside your head. And come up. If you come up to here and you're like 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, keep practicing yoga. Keep doing the vinyasas and your arms will get stronger
for one day you'll come up into wheel. Don't keep hovering there for ages, okay? Because when you're strong enough, don't let your elbows flare out to the side, keep them in. We're going to come up. It's okay to temporarily place your head on the mat, just temporarily, and then coming into the full wheel, okay? And then slowly making your way out. And then just let your back settle for a little bit and maybe come into 2 or 3. So like Dhanurasana, it's better to do a few short ones rather than to try and do one and hold it for, you know, the sort of yoga Olympics or something like that. I don't know. It's don't force yourself to hold a hard pose any more than you want to. Don't force it. Force is the operative word. If you really feel like doing it, then great, but don't feel like, oh, it's hard, I've got to stick to it, I've got to stick to it. Come out when your back tells you to come out, have a rest, and then do it a few more times, because this is a very it's a very intense back bend. Okay, the fact that you're up there is a good thing. You don't feel like you have to force it for ages and ages. So we're in one of those 3 poses at the moment. Maybe do a combination, maybe a couple, and after this we'll set up for Shavasana. So if you're in your supported bridge, lifting your hips up, taking your block out. If you're in wheel, just sort of finishing up on the round of wheel that you're on, just having your feet nice and wide, letting your legs fall over to the left and right a few times, just releasing out the hips. And just tugging the right knee in to stretch. And switching to the left. So we'll set up for Shavasana. Please do Shavasana, don't skip it. It is quite important. So flipping the palms up, closing the eyes, moving the legs, moving the hips, getting nice and relaxed. Shavasana is meditation, which is very important. We don't want to just train the body, we also want to train the mind. Focusing on the breath. Noticing the out-breath. Every time you breathe out, notice that gives your body a little bit of relaxation and your mind a little bit of relaxation every time you breathe out. And that's something that you can do for yourself at any time. So please continue on with Shavasana for at least a few more minutes. Namaste. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.